Look around you right now. The car in your driveway, the smartphone in your hand, the medicine in your cabinet, even the food you're going to eat later today. Now, what if I told you to take away 70,000 specific products from that picture? Literally everything grinds to a halt. That number, 70,000, that's the staggering amount of diverse products the global chemicals industry pumps out. It's basically the raw mathematical scale of how basic organic and inorganic feedstocks get transformed into the stuff that literally drives modern life. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking an inside look at the 70,000 product engine. We're going deep into the massive, practically invisible industry that powers everything from next-gen pharmaceuticals to everyday automobiles. It's an industry operating across vast, incredibly complex global supply chains, transforming basic raw materials into the fundamental building blocks of our daily lives. So you might be wondering, why focus on this specific industry? Well, it's simple. It sits at the absolute base of the entire global supply chain. Before a manufacturer can even think about building a wind turbine or a new smartphone, they need the specialized polymers, resins, and industrial gases that are created right here. Because of this foundational position, the chemical industry's operational metrics are absolutely crucial. They are the ultimate linchpin for worldwide environmental, social, and governance, or ESG performance. Basically, if the chemical sector isn't sustainable, nothing downstream can be sustainable either. It's a massive domino effect. Here's our agenda for today. We'll start with the 70,000 product global engine, look at the 3 pillars of production, and then dive right into measuring environmental impact and human health and safety. After that, we'll wrap up by exploring how we design sustainable products and navigate complex global regulations. Section 1, the 70,000 product global engine. Let's get right into it. Now, to really understand this space impartially, we need a standard rulebook. And the one we're using here is the SASB standards, which are now under the IFRS Foundation. Think of this as the official instruction manual that investors use to figure out this industry's true footprint. Under their system, chemicals sit squarely in the resource transformation sector. It's great because it gives us a standardized apples-to-apples way to measure the real-world impact of taking raw feedstocks and step-by-step stepping them up into complex compounds on a massive global scale. Section 2, 3 pillars of production. Let's see how this all breaks down physically. The whole industry essentially stands on 3 primary pillars. First up, you've got basic or commodity chemicals. This is your super high-volume stuff. Think bulk polymers and petrochemicals. Second, agricultural chemicals. This covers your fertilizers and crop biotechnology. And finally, specialty chemicals, which is where you find things like paints, adhesives, and catalysts. Now, a really key point here is that while a few giant corporations might do a bit of everything, most companies actually specialize in just one of these specific areas. But make no mistake, they all manufacture and sell on a massive global scale. Section 3, measuring environmental impact. This is where things get really analytical. Okay, so the absolute most critical point on the environmental front is understanding Scope 1 emissions. We're talking about direct greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, generated right there at the source. This happens when fossil fuels are burned to generate the intense heat and power needed for processing units. But, and this is wild, it also happens directly from the chemical transformation of the feedstocks themselves. Tracking these gross global emissions and trying to manage them through better energy efficiency or alternative fuels, yeah, that is a massive operational challenge. But wait, it's not just greenhouse gases. The industry is up against a huge air quality challenge too. Companies have to meticulously track nitrogen oxides, sulfur oxides, volatile organic compounds, and hazardous air pollutants. And compared to a lot of other industries, the chemical sector is a much, much bigger source of these specific emissions. Keeping them in check requires constant technological upgrades, mostly to avoid some seriously heavy regulatory penalties down the line. And then there is water. Just to wrap your head around the sheer scale here, a single chemical plant can chug through millions of gallons of water every single day, just for cooling, steam generation, and processing. Now, if a company operates plants in regions with high baseline water stress, meaning 40 to 80% stress, or extremely high stress, over 80%, they are looking at severe operational risks. They literally have to track every 1,000 cubic meters they withdraw and consume. Why? Because even a single incident of non-compliance with their water quality permits can shut down operations entirely. It's a really big deal. Section 4, Human Health and Safety. Let's shift from the environmental footprint to the human element. Because at the end of the day, this engine is incredibly complex, and you need real people to safely run it. And these employees face some serious daily risks. We're talking high pressure, extreme temperatures, and massive heavy machinery. So the industry tracks this using metrics like the total recordable incident rate, fatality rates, and the process safety incidents count. But it's not just about immediate accidents. It's also about assessing and reducing long-term chronic exposures to things like corrosives, neurotoxins, or known carcinogens. Building a rock-solid safety culture is absolutely vital. Because process incidents or transport spills, they send massive ripple effects not just through the workforce, but right into the surrounding communities as well. Section 5. Designing sustainable products. This is where the story gets really exciting. Because here is where we pivot from just playing defense and managing risks to actively future-proofing the whole industry. You see, chemical companies actually drive sustainability forward through something called use phase efficiency. Basically, this means designing a product so that when the customer actually uses it, it actively reduces energy or water consumption. Think about high albedo paints that reflect sunlight to keep buildings cool, or using lightweight polymers instead of heavy metals in cars to drastically improve fuel efficiency. We're talking about massive new market opportunities and revenue growth here. And what we're witnessing right now is a total paradigm shift. For decades, it was all about managing the burden of traditional hazardous substances, your category 1 and 2 chemicals. But the future is all about applying the 12 principles of green chemistry. This is incredibly proactive. It means designing safer chemicals from scratch, running reactions at ambient temperatures to save energy, and reducing hazardous synthesis right out of the gate. It's a complete 180, moving away from hazard management and sprinting towards sustainable innovation. Section 6. Navigating global regulations. Let's look at the rules of the road. Now, obviously, this industry doesn't operate in a vacuum. It is heavily governed by a complex, constantly shifting web of global oversight. We're talking about emissions-limiting regulations like cap-and-trade systems. Companies have to fight for and secure incredibly strict water quality permits. They're increasingly having to engage directly with local communities on environmental justice issues. And over in the agricultural sector, they're constantly navigating shifting GMO bans, quotas, and labeling rules. Honestly, a company's ability to proactively align their strategy with these regulatory drivers, that's what's going to dictate their long-term financial survival. So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this one provocative question to chew on. As global ESG demands accelerate at lightning speed, can the chemicals industry re-engineer its 70,000 product engine fast enough to build a truly sustainable future? It's literally a high-stakes race between operational legacy and green innovation. And as we've seen today, our entire global supply chain is riding on their success. So think about that the next time you pick up pretty much any everyday product. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.